Welcome to the Not Nerd Show. I'm Nate Heath, and we are here to help you tech better. Here with me, as always, Mr. Dave Baylor.
I'm barely here. Right, my hair's on fire. I'm trying to do 10 things. I got files converting. I got things downloading.
Yes.
You just talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah. Okay, we will. We're back to talk some technology. We talked about the retro gaming show for long time last week. We've got all kinds of new tech news to talk about this week.
New tech news?
First up, I do have a hat on.
Do you?
It is, man, the one last week was mid profile. This is low profile, but
what do we got?
It is.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Wayne's World. And I picked this one out
Cassandra.
because I had a PDX Fast Foodie video that went mildly viral yesterday on Instagram, and somebody you could comment with GIFs on Instagram, and it was the Wayne's World "We're Not Worthy" thing to my videos. So
did that inspire your choice?
Along with everybody calling my mustache a catfish, which I believe it is the longest it has ever been, and it is very hard to keep it more mustache-like. So I'm like, yeah, looks like a catfish.
I mean,
I thought about being a catfish for Halloween. Why not embrace it? People feel like they're gonna gotcha, you're a catfish. And it's like, yeah.
What you need, my friend.
Yes.
Is hairspray.
I've tried many different things, and the wax I have now is pretty good, but I think we're just at maximum velocity. I need a scientist, an engineer to discuss my mustache, because I feel like with the hairspray you could use some extra super hold L'Oreal or whatever, Aquanet.
Extra super hold.
I could get it there, but then as soon as it got knocked, it's not pliable, whereas the wax is more pliable. Yeah. And that's this week in my mustache.
Yes, it is.
But
exciting. Well, I love talking about your mustache. My beard's getting a little long and a little gray.
Yeah. Yes.
I think it's time for my daughter to try some of her
Just for Men
stuff. Whatever she did that time that made it look super dark.
Just go black cherry Kool-Aid.
Producer Todd says you can hide uncooked spaghetti in the mustache to give it a foundation and stick straight out.
Yes, I thought about doing the Pippi Longstocking and getting some thin wire to keep it in there. But yeah,
I think you should do it
where we're at.
Well, whatever the pros do, those guys at those contests,
they spend hours. That is where I do not.
Well, there you go. That's your problem.
Yes. But we do have technology to talk about, which is why you guys join in, and we always love it when you join in on the YouTube Live Tuesday nights, 6:30 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you like and subscribe and ring that bell so that you know when we are live, and you can join in like producer Todd does often, and others of you. But a couple things before we really get into it. I do want to remind people that it is Amazon Prime big deal days today and tomorrow. And I look through, if there's something specific you need, you might find a deal, but I will tell you, I sent it, Dave, I think before you woke up this morning, I sent you a text message with 11:30.
Easy.
But the Apple AirPods Pro 2 with USB-C, my current preferred AirPods, the AirPods Pro with the USB-C connection. Those are currently I'm going to click the link again because I've still got it in my text with you. $168.99. Wow. So they are, if you go buy them from Apple, they are $249.
Don't ever pay that. They're regularly $199.
We say it all the time. So it's 32% off. And I think that's like by $1 the lowest price those have been on Amazon, 10,000 plus bought in the last month. And
wow.
that is a great deal. I mean, that's basically the price of getting just the AirPod 4, the lower model from Apple. So I should see what the AirPods 4, if they're on a prime big deal, as
A
Apple or
big
Amazon calls
deal.
it. AirPods 4.
Hmm.
Those are currently 170. So it's more expensive to get the AirPods 4 with noise canceling than it is to get the AirPods Pro. That's
Yes.
wild.
And, your mileage may vary, but the Pro is typically the preferred
Yes. If you like
preferred one.
the sealed connection, I might like the AirPods 4. I don't use the full noise canceling. I've seen some reviews that say the AirPods 4 with noise canceling, it's pretty good. It's not as good as when you have a full seal of the foam tips on there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's where we're at with that Prime deal days. And make sure when you go to Amazon, you first go to notpicks.com, find some good stuff there, click through the links, and keep supporting us on notpicks.com. I even have a big banner on there about the Prime big deal days.
Hmm.
So yeah, I know there's some good deals out there. There is just the fact that I have already bought multiples of everything I could ever need. But yes,
There it
there it
is.
is. Prime
Prime
big deal
big
days.
deal days. I'm trying to think. Yeah, there's the headphones.
Yeah, right there at the beginning.
You could even save big on an Apple Watch SE.
Yeah, $170. That's a good deal for an Apple Watch. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that one, but if
Yeah.
you
Oh,
need an Apple Watch and you need it to be dirt cheap,
isn't
some
this
New
your brand?
Balances, it is. That is not my style, but
Well,
yeah,
style,
if
who
you need
cares?
vacuum cleaners or like our Blue Eddy big old huge power banks or any Amazon products, if you're looking for a
Yeah.
new Kindle, now would be the time to get one. I think they have some new Fire tablets, any of that stuff these next 2 days, or else you'll have to wait until Black Friday
2 more
in a month
months
and
or
a
whatever.
half.
I I'm often confused by the Kindle Paperwhite. You kind of have to be careful to see, like, when did this one come out?
Oh,
Was it like the
well, yeah, they
2021?
release a new model every 3 months, so it's like
But
you've
some of
gotta
them
do some research.
they only release every couple years, and so it's
Yeah.
like it's very hard to tell when, like, what year is this? I want to know
Yeah,
definitively that this is new.
the newest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, you're
Amazon
viewing the
should
newest model, but when did it come out?
yeah.
Come on now.
They're
Anyway,
not
enough of
the
that
best at that stuff.
garbage.
But another piece of news, we are hearing more solid rumors that there will be an Apple event of some sort this
Mm,
month where we'll probably see new M4 computers and some new iPads. So if you're looking at laptops or Mac minis or iPads, you might want to wait. They should be released. There was a rumor the 1st of November, but it looks like they will be probably doing an event in a couple weeks here to
mm.
announce some new stuff. So, yeah, Apple event coming. So, unless you absolutely need to buy something,
And
wait
we're
and
gonna
see what
play
they
the song. It's an Apple event,
Yes.
glorious day, whatever it was.
Yes, indeed. Well, our main topic this week, there's something that has come up and it has come at me from many directions this week. Producer Todd sent us an example of this.
Hmm.
One of my clients who does food trend analysis stuff sent me an example. I was talking to a friend of the show, Wes, about it. So I figured we would discuss a little bit. And this, if you have seen they're starting to pop up everywhere. These fake AI podcasts where it's a man and a woman talking, and they're describing something, and they add in some awkward laughter. It's not the
As
Not
one
Nerd
does.
Show. It is created by a service called Google Notebook LM, and released some versions of this over a while, and I think the podcast feature has been out for a while, but it seems to really be gaining steam.
Like, who is this helping? Like, why do we
Well, the
need this?
podcast, see, the podcast thing is the thing that everybody's sharing. The useful part of Notebook LM is you could feed it a 200-page research paper and it will create like a FAQ for you. There's all these different tools within this. So it's
I actually want
an
one of those for some of my stuff.
yeah, an AI note-taking app. And then and it looks like I actually used it in the past. It looks like I have some, oh,
You
maybe
know,
that's some other
I
their
would
default
not,
documents.
I want to be the adult in the room. Just keep in mind if you're using an AI powered note taking app or note manager or file manager, all
Yes.
that stuff is being uploaded to the internet and
Yeah.
being viewed by the company's stuff. So anything you want to be secret or whatever, don't use that tool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
no,
just said
that is always the privacy aspect of it. But so what I did to have a little fun with it
mm-hmm.
is I took the YouTube link of last week's episode 460, and I put it in there. And what it does is goes to YouTube, downloads the automatically generated transcription that YouTube does on every video.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then it takes that, analyzes it, breaks it all down, and then feeds it into this podcast generator they have. And I mean, this was maybe 5, 6 minutes total that it did all of this. And then at the end, with this feature, I also tried the FAQ feature, and there's other ways. So for research type stuff, this is really great. For like the pot where it creates a podcast, the one producer Todd sent us, a friend of his had done some big research thing into it, and they all sound very similar. It's the same voices, but I think there is a fun aspect to it, and it did a really good job of capturing our episode. So I sent it to Dave, and I don't know if you're ready to do that or if we want to talk about things a little more.
I'm ready to play the audio. I just can't get the video to work for some reason.
Okay, that's
Um, let
weird.
me let me try it again. I've tried it like 5 or 6 different
Yeah.
ways. Yeah, it won't
Yeah,
do
let
it.
me just read this from The Verge. This was back in June. Google launched its note taking app Notebook LM last year for researchers, students, and anyone who needs to organize the information they've gathered. Now, users can upload Google Slides and web URLs as sources, not just the Google Docs, PDFs, and text files it accepted previously. It reads sources from all different kinds, basically any text you can give it or YouTube videos now. And then you can ask questions about charts, images, diagrams. So it's kind of an AI built into this where it takes the information. Then you could even ask questions or it'll automatically generate different formats of things. And I had heard about it before. I hadn't used it before, but I said, you know what? I want to get into this because it seems to be something that's really catching on with people. So you can create table of contents, briefing docs. I mean, basically, if you're in college, you could take this, insert entire textbook if you had the stuff and write your papers in a second. But
Yeah, it's
um,
amazing.
draft scripts from it, it's wild. But yeah, Dave, do you want to go ahead and play a little the intro of what it created from our last episode?
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear it again, but it was playing.
Okay.
Can you hear it? If not, I can.
I cannot.
You can't. I'll switch it real quick. Our audience can hear it.
And producer Todd says they can't hear it.
Oh, they can't hear it. Interesting. Huh. So we're just standing there. Oh yeah, it's not playing there. Interesting. It was
How
working
about now?
before.
Can you hear it now? Because I can.
They can't hear it. Nobody can hear it. So why don't you
So we're going to
use
have a
your
whole bunch of dead air in
yeah.
this episode.
So
Black
why don't
screen and crickets
you
from
need
Hey Grandma.
to do the play-by-play of what it
So
says.
maybe once it catches up with the stream. But while we're looking at that, producer Todd said, I actually ran across an AI podcast in the wild on Apple's podcast. Oh, now I can hear it.
Well, but now I don't think
It was a
people can hear
Madonna
it.
podcast that was clearly both AI written and recorded, but it had real ads in it. I imagine the AI podcasts have the same game plan as AI stuff on Spotify and YouTube, farming streaming numbers for profit.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, see,
Okay,
again,
listeners,
Nate, I have
did
to.
you hear any of that, or are people just tuning in because they are looking for dead air videos on YouTube?
I'm trying real hard to have multiple
Audio.
Yeah. So
Here,
it
let's do this. Why don't I play it through my microphone? That'll work a lot better.
Well, it was still working. It was working before,
So
but
just
now
turn,
it's
'cause
not for
nobody
some
was
reason.
hearing anything. So let's
Yeah.
do this.
All right, so buckle up. Because today we are diving head first into a whole bunch of tech.
Sounds good to me.
We're talking retro gaming,
Yeah.
Meta's making moves, and even a little AI drama on the side.
All right.
You wanted the quick download on all the latest buzz, so we jumped right into a YouTube video from Not Nerd. Those guys always seem to have their finger on the pulse.
They do.
And they
True.
kick things off with a trip to the Portland Retro Gaming Expo.
Which, as it happens, is a pretty big deal.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually the second largest event held at the Oregon Convention Center.
Wow.
It draws retro gaming enthusiasts from all over.
Yeah, we were there.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, it was huge.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah, we
sheer
were there.
scale of the place.
Yeah.
It was like
I'm gonna
stepping
skip
into a
ahead
time.
a little bit here and get us some more.
Are many years of marital bliss that she possesses the technologically superior device.
Wow.
Yes, today I found myself back at the Apple store
Dave
upgrading
and
her
his
to the
wife's
iPhone
iPhone.
16 Pro.
So what was the deciding factor?
It's
Oh, newer makes great stuff.
For real,
Oh.
this thing is like the Swiss Army
Are you
knife of
skipping?
phone mounts.
Okay.
yeah, I'm
It's got a
skipping
standard
ahead.
tripod mount, a cold shoe mount. You could even use it as a hand.
Skipping around a little bit throughout the episode, but
Transition
it
from a
covered the
nonprofit
whole
to a for-profit company.
open
right, I
AI
remember
stuff.
that.
And that move really didn't sit well with Elon Musk. You know, he was one of the original founders. And that's
So
That's
that gives you a
amazing.
taste of producer Todd. That AI lady stole my fact, plagiarism. So the weird thing, as you listen through it, they kind of jump back and forth between being consumers of our podcast and then actually being us in the way. So there's some disconnect there where it's not them just reviewing our podcast. They kind of, the way it generated, like it'll be talking like it's me and they'll be talking like they went to. So
Right.
it's very
Yeah,
wild. I will
it was
put a
flipping
full
back
link
and
in the
forth.
show notes.
It was like, yeah, the not nerd guys, and then it was like, we were there.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
no, the not nerd guys were there.
And her laugh is just a little awkward.
Why is it that all the lady AIs have creepy laughs? You know how there was that Alexa thing where it would just laugh weird and crazy?
Yes.
Scary.
But yeah, so it created out of our hour plus episode, it chopped it down to 11 minutes. I will link in the show notes. I might put it up on YouTube. I put captions on it so that you can follow along with the image. But it is really wild. So it's one more great reminder that don't trust everything you hear, see, watch, smell, any of that stuff. That
If
this
it's
stuff
online,
just keeps getting better.
I don't know if I would believe anything.
Yeah, yeah, and it's something that back when I was at that marketing conference down in San Diego, that came up several times. Is if you're like a business or if you're wanting to create this stuff and put it out there, I strongly urge you to be very transparent of what you're doing. Like if you were just going to create these episodes, like this Madonna podcast that producer Todd was talking about, that has ads and is on Apple Podcasts. Now there's plenty of YouTube channels as well or you'll see reels or TikToks where it's AI generated voices, and they're probably generating stuff, and all the big
Hmm.
media companies are trying to figure out ways to, how do you navigate this? It's also new, and of course people are going to try to get around stuff with it. But my suggestion to anybody creating this type of stuff, just be transparent. Like, I will be very honest, the room that appears like I am in right now, I am not in this room. That is not our podcast logo, which looks like a lowercase g and a 9.
Yeah, the two different
Um,
fonts of 9s for some reason.
it's one of the AI. It's actually pulled from the AI show art that we have this
Mhm.
week, and I use Photoshop AI to remove the people from the Chat GPT AI image that I generated to
Check
use
out the
for
floating
this.
plant on
Yeah,
over your
yeah.
right shoulder.
Yes, I think I saw those on the TikTok shop. You can buy some floating plants. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of make people aware of it. You can go listen to the recap if you missed last week's episode. Once I get that up there, check the show notes and you'll be able to go listen to this AI guy and gal discuss both what Not Nerd is and also pretend like they are Not Nerd at the same time.
I don't like it. I
Yes.
don't like it.
Yes. But it is everywhere. But and hey, Grandma says my husband was so impressed with Nate's room a few weeks back, I had to break it to him. Just AI. Oh man.
Sorry, Richard.
Yes. It's the way things go. But you know what else is the way things go?
What's that?
Dave's pro tip of the week.
Now this is going to be basic. Yeah, basic.
Basic.
Also, Todd says, are there any telltale hints we can use to identify AI audio? No.
And less and
The
less.
content. The
Yeah.
content being stupid. But you can get that with real people. So
Yeah, you've watched this show long enough, producer Todd, but yeah, it's only going to get better. I mean, we're still in what has it been, a year, 2 years since ChatGPT came out?
Yeah. it has
and it
not
is
been long at all.
no, and it keeps getting better. They talk about ways of putting little signals into the audio where, little digital watermarks where
Mhm.
like YouTube would be able to tell, but it's like, to what end? And there's always going to be some way to get around that. So,
It's going to be harder in the future as things get better, but I think what you do is you try to follow a personality. So let's say like Renee Ritchie used to be a YouTuber who now works for Google. You just follow Renee Ritchie because you know that he's a real person. He talks about technology. You know what he looks like when he makes his videos versus, oh, I'm just going to search for some random topic, because the person could actually be an AI person and the content could be AI. So you need
and you can even
vet.
do that with real people. Like I've got 11 labs where you can feed any audio to the Not Nerd show. I'm Nate Heath, and we are here to help you tech better. Here with me, as always, Mr. Dave Baylor. That
But
was
see, the metering and the pace is weird with that.
yeah, which you can adjust that. I just had put that in there, but all I did was take my audio from one podcast episode, put it into 11 labs, it generated the voice, and now I could type whatever I wanted. And if I sped it up a little bit, it
Or
would
did some light
sound
editing.
exactly like me. Yeah, some very light editing.
One of the things I hate is oftentimes there is a topic on a YouTube video I want to learn about and watch, and the voice of the person is just, and they put all the text in the thing and it's an AI bot reading it.
Yeah.
I think it's a real script. It's not a chat GPT.
Yeah.
Someone wrote the script, but instead of reading it, they have like a robot voice read it, and it messes up all kinds of words and
Yes,
phrasings.
my thought on some of those, and that stuff's getting better, like we were talking about last week with Facebook, is possibly somebody that speaks a different language. They write
Yeah.
out what they know. They know it should be in English. They use Google Translate and then feed it into AI so that you can actually get English. But yeah, and producer Todd, the telltale thing to identify if there's an AI Nate is if he can pronounce vulnerable the first time,
That is
which I've
correct.
gotten much better at. But anyways, you know what's not vulnerable?
What's that?
Dave's pro tip of the week.
And I'm going to switch the camera. That way, you know, I'm serious about doing the pro tip this week. So this is a very simple one that came up, and I know we've talked about this stuff before, but a lot of people are getting, we got a driveway cam situation going on here.
Ooh.
Got a Tesla backing into a spot and another guy parking in a not parking spot. So anyway, I digress. A lot of people are getting iPhone 16, 16 Pros and Pro Max and Pluses and all those things are discovering for the first time that they have an always on display.
Yes.
My wife, for instance, goes, I turned my phone off, but the screen won't go off. How do I do that? And I said, oh dear. This is an always on display. This is like the third generation phone that's had this, but your phone is so old you don't even know. So the always on display is useful to show the time. It can show some notifications. If you turn it sideways when you're in sleep mode, it'll show you a clock and maybe your what do you call it? Your tasks or your calendar events or something like that. So it's useful information. The screen is a very efficient OLED screen. It drops down to like 1 megahertz, and so it's not using hardly any energy, and it's okay. But she didn't like it, so I turned it off for her, and this is how I did it. I went into my settings, and you can do this as well if you have an iPhone 14, 15, or a 60. And you go down to display and brightness, click there. And inside the display and brightness slider, there's a lot of great features in here. But you go near the bottom and it'll have a title, Always on Display, and it talks about some of that. You can have your always on display show your wallpaper, show notifications, or you can just toggle it off. And so for her, that's what I did. I toggled off always on display. Now, Nate, what are some things that you use your always on display for? I'm assuming you leave it on.
I do leave it on. It goes dim. It is nice to look at the time. Now, one of the things is when you're on the always on display and you're like, I'm trying to sweep up, but it's like you have to tap it to kind of wake it up and then you can swipe it. So it does get a little confusing. I don't really use it all that awful much. I do have my Apple Watch on all the time, so if I
Yeah.
need the time or something, there. But you know, like when I go to sleep, I put my phone and watch into a sleep focus,
Mm-hmm.
which is very much like do not disturb. So it then turns off the screen on both my watch and my phone at nighttime. I don't use the little dock center display thing. I just
Yeah.
put my phone down when I'm done for the day. But I do
Hmm.
like that you could turn off like the wallpaper or the notifications. It might just keep it a little simpler and make it a little more private. But do you use yours for the sleep dock
Well,
thingamajig? Or
I usually just throw it on my little magnetic charger and then I fall asleep. But I noticed before Valerie turned her new phones off, she had it sideways on the dock and it was showing the time just really big. And I was like, oh, I want that. So I
yes,
tried to get it to do it. And I couldn't, it wouldn't work. And
yeah,
so to be determined on how I use it. But typically at night, it's not on. But during the day, I leave it on all the time. And when
yeah.
I have it on my dock at work, the screen's on all the time and it's showing me the time and notifications that come through. So I find that part useful. And I find a lot of people online who I've on Reddit, there's an iPhone 15 Pro Max, which is the phone that I have. There's a subreddit just for that particular
Yeah.
device. And people are always posting, oh, I'm at 92% battery and 264 charge cycles. And what do you
Oh,
have?
yeah.
And I decided a long time ago, and I've done some optimization, but I'm just using my phone to its fullest.
Yeah.
I crank the brightness up. I charge it all the way usually. I don't worry about battery health or any of that. I just use it to its full extent. And after 2, 3, 4 years, if the battery is junk, I'm either going to upgrade my phone or I can buy a new battery for it. I'm not that concerned about it.
Yeah, and I never put it into the show, but there was an article that came out a few weeks ago, I think, where somebody had taken for the entire year, they have a setting where it's like only ever charge your battery to 80%
Yeah.
on your iPhone and it's going to save you.
I did
So
that for a
after a
while.
full year, they did a test between two phones and it made almost difference. So you
Yeah.
gave up 20% of your battery life for an entire year, had to charge more often, and it didn't really make a difference. So,
Well, the
yeah,
exception of Todd and Valerie, most people get a phone every couple years,
yeah,
a new phone.
this is
So
true.
it doesn't
Yeah.
matter anyway.
And getting batteries replaced is they've made that a little cheaper. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, I I am fortunate enough that on the Apple upgrade program, I get a new phone every year. So it's never become
Yeah.
an
Why
issue
should you
for
care?
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, blow through those
Blow it.
batteries. They'll just give me a
Waste it.
new one.
Stick it in the landfill.
But my
Put it in
old
the
phone,
river.
after a year, it still lasted me all day. I think maybe it was down to 91% of its capacity, but it was still the battery life has gotten so good on the new phones as well, that it's become so much less of an issue. So
Yeah.
but yeah, the always on display, that is an adjustment when you first get that. It is a big change. So that's a good thing to point out. And the fact that you can just go turn it off if you want.
Well, we have a lot of good discussion tonight, but we should probably get on with the show.
Yes, yes. Well, it is time for just the headlines. Oh, and we've got the driveway cam,
It got dark.
a decently warm fall eve. Yeah, it is getting darker earlier here in the
Hey,
Pacific Northwest.
and look, all the leaves are brown. So there was that cool day where it rained and everything.
Yes.
So it like turned all the leaves and then it knocked them all off. And so overnight there was no leaves on the ground and now there's all kinds of leaves on the ground.
Yes, yes. That is there is a season. 'Tis the season. Is that how it goes? Well, let us get to just the headlines. Potatoes are better than human blood for making space bricks, scientists say.
Oh my. Earth will have a temporary mini moon for 2 months.
Google Flights now uses Amtrak data to show trains to consider alongside flights.
Cheetos food coloring turns mice transparent.
And OpenAI asks investors not to back rival startups such as Elon Musk's XAI. And those are just the headlines.
In other news, Microsoft asks customers to not buy Apple products. And Samsung asks people not to buy Google products. Yeah.
Yes,
That was
indeed.
kind of weird.
And if you could possibly have any more questions about any of those headlines, we will have links in the show notes.
Especially
for
that
you.
blood one, the very first one.
Yes, I did read that one, and it is fascinating. But all we have is the headlines. So
Yeah, got to look it up
sorry
yourself.
about that. And hey, Grandma says you can't sing California Dreamin' here.
Why not?
Ah.
I could sing. I mean, what else would I sing?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, because we're
Yeah,
in Oregon,
obviously.
maybe. Maybe 'cause we're in
Oregon.
Oregon.
Yes. There is a little
All the
hint
trees
in
are
there.
green
Yeah, we'll
and they're
have
very
AI make an
tall.
Oregon version of it for
Yeah,
next week.
we could do it.
Well, let us move on to our takes of the week. And I wanted to talk a little bit. We mentioned this briefly last week, but there was a hurricane in the southeast United States and another one coming in. But there is just been a ton of stories about, for one, really the success of Starlink down there.
Yeah.
I think I briefly mentioned that, but there has been a ton of people just getting Starlink down there and getting people set up. Now, I put a couple stories in the show notes. I don't know if I knew this last week, but they got it set up where Starlink is offering free service to victims of Hurricane Helene. So they can just use Starlink for free, and all these free devices and generators are being delivered.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, in an interesting twist, the FCC lets Starlink provide service to cell phones in areas hit by
Oh,
hurricane. There's that link that I was looking for. The links got linked in our show notes. So that means that um, they were Elon and Starlink. Starlink has been working with T-Mobile to be able to offer satellite cell service directly from their satellites to T-Mobile phones, bypassing the cellular carriers in case of emergency, much like the iPhone SOS satellite communication we talked about last week.
the days are coming. Hey, you
Yes.
remember? You remember when the pandemic happened and everybody's working from home, and then everybody's like, "Hey, we could just work from home all the time."
Yeah.
A couple years from now, we're gonna say, "Hey, remember when we had to use cellular towers to
Yeah.
do phone calls? We can just use satellite. Now we're
Yeah.
just gonna use satellite all the time." So it's
Yeah.
coming. Satellite full-time service is, I mean,
Yes.
it's
And
inevitable.
I do want to reach out my regards to all the people that have been impacted by Hurricane Helene and then Hurricane Mitch, is it? This one that's coming
Maybe
in?
this one right
In
here.
from the Gulf that looks to be, I was reading some stats on it, and it is one of the worst hurricanes that they've seen in the Atlantic. So prayers for everybody down there that you keep safe. But it has been amazing on X to see the grassroots efforts of all these people just come together with their four-wheelers, and I saw a guy that was hauling stuff on mules to people where the roads were all washed out,
Nice.
and people using their helicopters, and we mentioned drones last week. It's truly, it feels like a real patriotic moment just to see these people. The one guy that I knew through Mr. Beast that's been down there, one video he posted, he was like, okay, I'm going to take your advice. I'm going to get a couple hours of sleep, because he had just been running so hard trying to get as many people help as he can. And
Yeah.
I will remind people that we are the most nonpartisan tech podcast on the internet, and there's all kinds of stories, but and the government is helping down there. But these people that are just boots on the ground, as soon as the storm hit, they were ready to go, and people were flying in Starlinks on private jets and all. I mean,
Wow.
it has been wild to see what's going on down there in the
We just
support
need
of
to
these
buy
people.
one. We just need to buy
Yeah.
one, have the service in our pocket, and when we need it, we just turn it on.
I did respond to one of Elon's tweets about it this week and asked if there's going to be any Black Friday deals on the Starlink Mini. He did not respond to me. He
Huh.
must be busy or something.
Weird.
But
Well, does he
yeah,
know who
so
you are? Surely he
he
does.
he should.
Why wouldn't
He
he?
should. Yeah.
Jerk.
Next up, I didn't see that I got this one in the show notes. It's because I messed up the show notes, but there's an official short film coming out for the Apple Vision Pro called Submerged this week. It actually comes out Thursday. So I will report back next week. I will make sure to watch it before we do the show next week. But this trailer, they're kind of talking about how they had to completely rethink filmmaking.
Do you believe that? I mean, James Cameron's been making 3D movies for a long time, and all of a
Yeah,
sudden it's like,
3D is different than immersive, though. I mean, because you're basically at a 180-degree versus.
are you sure? Yeah, I guess it does
Yeah,
look kind of 3D.
IMAX is close, but I will report
Hmm.
back on that. I haven't seen it yet, so I
What
can't
about
tell
me and
you.
my X3 camera? That's immersive. It's
Yes,
360.
yeah, that is.
So maybe I'll make a
You need to submit
film.
to Apple. Try to get some of that Apple money going.
Sweet Apple money.
And
There, it's like, here's my pitch. I take my $300 camera. It's not 3D, but it's
Tell me more.
360. And I just make a movie, and you give me money for it.
Done.
Exclusive worldwide rights.
Yes, yes.
That's my pitch.
Okay, you should post some of your stuff on YouTube. It supports 360-degree videos.
You know what's dumb? Is I didn't bring my 360 camera to the Retro Video Game Expo.
Yes.
I could have walked around all the time we're walking around. I could have been recording a 360-degree.
Could just
Deal.
had like a 10-foot tower above your head, just
Well, I've
recording
got a
360.
selfie
a pole.
stick
Yeah.
thing.
I've got several you could borrow.
Yeah.
There was some place that I was going. Oh, when we went to the wildlife safari last week. I was like, oh, I should have gotten Dave's 360 camera.
Yeah. It's available to borrow. Birthdays,
Yeah.
bar mitzvahs, you name it.
ABU, always be using your devices, which don't do as we do as we say.
And
But
I'm a little confused as to where that camera is at the moment. I thought I was going to reach into my bag of tricks.
yeah,
I got a giant lens.
there you go.
It's not it.
Always need one of those handy.
Yeah.
In some other, we got two Apple Vision Pro stories, but this is a sad one. Christian Selig's unofficial YouTube app for the Vision Pro just got taken down, and this it was an app called Juno. I believe I made it a pick of the week. Absolutely beautiful Vision Pro YouTube app, because YouTube has not made a Vision Pro app yet. Now, it had been on there. He was charging $5 for it. He had done some updates, and he tried to the best of his knowledge to follow all of the YouTube guidelines. He wasn't stripping out ads. He wasn't doing all this different stuff. He just wanted a YouTube app on the Vision Pro.
Why do they care?
And they wrote him a cease and desist or whatever, and they eventually had Apple pull it down. Now, Dave, you might remember Christian Selig from his other popular app that got basically deleted, which was Apollo for Reddit, which when Reddit decided to take away all third-party apps, he lost on that one. So
He did.
He said he's still making apps. I think he has a couple other ones, but he's had
I'll never
two
financially
very popular
recover from
apps.
this, is what he said.
Yes. Yeah. And with Juno, I believe he posted after the first weekend, thank you to everyone. You just paid for my Vision Pro, for all the people that bought Juno as soon as they got their Vision Pros. So bummer for him. I hope they release a YouTube app, because it's just not the same in the browser.
That was a
I
good
have
app,
the
Juno.
app still. You just can't get a new one. So bummer. More bad Apple news, especially for producer Todd. Apple says final iPod Nano and iPod Shuffle models are now obsolete.
Oh man, and I didn't do my due diligence. It's right around the corner. I'd have to get up and disconnect. I have one of those very models in a box right around the corner.
Yes. So
but yes, those and the Shuffle models are now obsolete.
Yeah, the 7th generation iPod Nano and the 4th generation iPod Shuffle. So many of the older ones were already obsolete. But they were discontinued in 2017, 7 years ago already.
Wow.
Which is wild. And so they're not going to provide software updates or support for those
if you
anymore.
Have any old Apple devices sitting in a drawer that you don't know what to do with, that you don't want to sell on Facebook Marketplace for $2, just give them to me. Just let me know. I have a collection. And I'm
Dave
actually
will
working
pay top high fives
top high
for
five.
any devices.
I will write a personal handwritten note. It'll
Which
take
I
me-
do have on good sources that we have that note has been delivered, and an unboxing might be coming soon.
Oh,
We won't spoil anything for the public, but there was a delivery that has been made.
yes.
And producer Todd says, "Oh no, thankfully Dave hooked me up with an old version of iTunes so I can still use it. I love my shuffle, no internet, no notification, no outages, a battery that lasts forever on a charge."
Old tech, you know, a lot of the hipsters and stuff will go and get old tech just to be cool.
Yeah.
But now the tech, like good tech that's very useful, is now old tech.
Yes, yes.
You know what I mean? Like those Nano
it
shuffle
becomes
things.
old
They have
much
Bluetooth.
faster. Yeah.
I mean, you could use them. They've got a color screen, Bluetooth. You could watch a video. You could listen to audio through Bluetooth. I mean, they're old, but they're still very useful.
Yes. Yes.
A lot of people I know are like that.
Oh, and I had a note, but he has not posted yet, so we'll have to come back to it next week. It is Microsoft Patch Tuesday, but
Oh,
Krebs on Security, you have not posted your update yet. You have not posted since October 3rd. So
come on,
next week
Krebs.
we'll have to actually know what happened in Microsoft Patch Tuesday. I was actually updating some Windows computers today, and I installed all the updates this morning, and then I was like, oh, I'll check for updates again. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's Patch Tuesday. There's a whole nother round of updates that I should have waited for.
I am so glad I do not regularly use Windows computers. I'm just going to say that. I might sound
yeah.
like an elitist, but I do not look forward to Patch Tuesdays.
Yeah.
I look forward to just my crap working most of the time.
Yeah.
Not all the
Yeah.
time, like audio on my browser.
Yes.
Stupid
Yes.
thing.
And that's a little more complex.
That's
but
kind of a me problem. But
yes, we don't have that, but we do have a security and privacy story this week. So I kind of heard about this one, and this is the 9 to 5 Mac take on it. Chinese hack of US ISPs shows why Apple is right about backdoors for law enforcement. So if you haven't heard, this is from the Wall Street Journal. A cyber attack tied to the Chinese government penetrated the networks of a swath of US broadband providers, potentially accessing information from systems the federal government uses for court authorized network wiretapping requests. For months or longer, the hackers might have held access to network infrastructure used to cooperate with lawful US requests for communications data, according to people familiar with the matter. So, all of the ISPs, Comcast, T-Mobile, AT&T, the government has told them that they need to have ways to access your information in case of a court case. Well, Chinese hackers hacked into those systems so that they could just take all that information over to China. So that's why backdoors are a bad idea.
Yeah. And Apple and you and I have been saying this for years, but the government don't care. They just want that sweet, sweet data so they don't have to do the hard work.
Yeah.
But it comes back to bite you. So hopefully lessons have been learned, but I doubt it.
Yes. Well, I doubt it too, but luckily we have a great palate cleanser for a bonus odd take of the week. It is that time of year for the finalists of the 2024 Comedy Wildlife Photography Award.
I knew this was coming up. I saw an article a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I had seen something too, and then I saw the finalists had been announced, and this is through kotkey.org. So if you click the first link there, it'll take you over to the official Nikon Comedy Wildlife Awards, conservation through competition. And they even have video finalists this year.
Oh,
man, they're upping their game on stuff. But
and for you audio listeners, the first one is two birds on a thing, and one of them takes a face dive,
into the but very, very fun stuff, and just a good thing. I need to make sure that I show Isla these, because again, these wildlife photographers do amazing work, and then every once in a while they catch some fun stuff as well. So it's
Yeah,
good for a good chuckle. Make
it is a
some
good
memes
chuckle.
out of these.
You need some good news every once in a while, and you need a good chuckle every once in a
Yes.
while.
Yes. And sadly, I did not catch any photos at the wildlife safari last week that would qualify for the Comedy Wildlife Awards. I was trying, but
It's hard.
the
Animals
animals
don't
just weren't
cooperate.
being funny.
Yeah. They're probably not very happy in all those cages, but
Yes.
that's why they're not laughing at you
Yes.
doing
Yeah.
fun stuff. They're like,
Funny
save me.
enough, the tamarins, which are in a smaller cage, funny little monkeys, they were trying to laugh at me. So,
Were they?
yes.
They were
But
going, look at that mustache that guy has.
yes. Yeah. Looks like a catfish, like every person on
Yeah.
Instagram comments. Well, with that, it is time for our picks of the week.
Yes. And I'll go first, as
Yeah,
is the custom.
it is.
And I was going to go to my my Cosmo. I was going to go to my Amazon. I don't know where Cosmo came from, but I decided to go to a different website
Ooh.
to show you something that was on pre-order, that was purchased, and is now in the process of shipping. What am I talking about? Of course, it's the DJI Neo. You remember this little
Oh,
drone?
yeah. The one we were just talking about.
$199. You can tell it
Right.
to do stuff without a controller, or you can hook it to your phone,
Yeah.
or you
The
can hook it
goggles.
to a real controller, or you can hook it to goggles and a joystick. It's so versatile. Is it better than the drone that I have right now? No. Is it smaller and easier to use? Yes.
Yes.
Will I crash it and lose it? Probably.
Probably. And which one do you currently have?
I currently have the DJI Mini 2.
Okay.
They have come out with the Mini 3, the 3 Pro, and now the 4. So I'm kind of behind the times on my
Yeah.
drone. So this one is just a fun little toy. I plan on sticking it in my bag, having it with me, and
Yeah.
if I want to do some quick, flying around the building or something, I'll get my phone out and just do it kind of hacky. If I just want it to follow me on a hiking trail, of course, I'll be sensitive to those around me,
Yes.
and the wildlife and whatnot. But
Yeah.
yeah, just a fun little floating camera
Nice.
that
I
I can
might
take
actually
anywhere.
have a client with Consist Media for all your marketing and technology needs. Make your life easier with Consist Media. I might have a
Wow.
client where we might need some drone footage to capture some stuff for their website. So I'll be in touch.
Look at this. This is how
Yeah.
business happens. You guys
Yes.
didn't expect that you're going to be watching this podcast and learn all about the ins and outs of business, but here it
Business.
is. Live.
Yes. Live business.
Business.
Very nice. Well, I am very excited. I will want to get together and check that out with you once it
Yeah.
arrives.
You can just rent it from me for $150. And then
Yes.
go
yes.
crazy.
Yes. As Wes WPR 2004 enters the chat, that drone is super tempting and networking with each other. Yes.
Yes.
The guys that have been doing a podcast for 9 years together. Hey, I might have an opportunity. Have I got the
What?
opportunity for you, Dave?
Do you have something I could borrow? That's weird.
Yes. Yes.
You actually don't. We have everything.
Yeah, we
Like,
do
I
have
could
a
pick
pretty
up-
good
I pick up a
carbon
random
copy.
thing on my desk. Do you have one of these? Wise nightlight.
Oh, it is 10 feet away from me.
Yes. Do you
Yes.
have an SD card?
Yes, I do.
Do you have a
I have
gaming
2 of 'em.
controller?
I
See?
don't have any controllers up here. They're downstairs.
But the point is you have all the same things
Yes.
that I have.
We need to start a rental service for all of the stuff we have. Which brings me to my pick of the week.
Oh,
Now,
yes.
Dave, there are some things that I have a lot of. I have a variety of
Mhm.
trucker hats, plaid shirts, can
Problems.
koozies, tripods, lighting,
Selfie
uh,
sticks.
selfie sticks, all of these things. But there's one thing that I saw this one, and it might have come through Cool Tools, might have been somewhere else, but it is the amazing Amazon description of short USB-C cable, 5-inch, 100-watt power delivery, fast charging, 2022 new USB-C to USB-C short cable, Thunderbolt 3 for MacBook, Android Auto, external SSD, and more Type-C devices, 20 gigabits per second data transfer. Made it. It is
Wow.
4.5 stars, 719 ratings. It is this bad boy right here. Just
I
a
found it.
5-inch short
Oops.
USB-C cable. Now, one thing that this would be very handy if I had an iPhone and if I wanted to shoot the log video, I don't recommend it for anybody, but if I wanted to connect a hard drive, say to the back of my phone, this short little 5-inch cable is just the perfect. It's a nice, hard, solid rubber, something that I can just throw in my backpack, always have another USB-C cable handy. But for $10, there's a 15% off coupon right now. So for $8.50,
That's
you
a pretty
can go
good
to
price.
Amazon
Yeah.
and buy this, especially with the 100-watt power delivery. So it's a Thunderbolt 3. That's good. It says 20 gigabits per second data transfer. I have not verified that, but man, just this little guy right here,
Mm-hmm.
super slim, fit in your pocket. Carry one of these in your pocket. You never know when you're going to need a short USB-C Thunderbolt 3 cable.
Now, yeah, I'm in a support group, shortcable.com. You can go
Yes,
there.
yes. And hey,
But
grandma says, not nerd intranetworking, or is it internetworking? Say that fast 10 times. I will
mhm.
not attempt that.
You know
But
what disappoints me about this cable a little bit?
what's that?
It's not Thunderbolt 4,
Yes.
but
Well, I don't know that I have
we
any
just got
Thunderbolt 4
3.
devices.
Yeah, 20 gigabits per second.
Yes.
That's pretty fast.
Yeah, that's going to do. And actually, this Sabrent previous pick of the week, this Rocket Nano SSD drive, this is a 2
Yeah.
terabyte drive. And man, I was transferring some data and it was going, I forget how fast it was going, but it was hundreds of megabytes per second. I was transferring a bunch of data.
Yeah.
This is another great, I mean, you can have this in your pocket, have this in your pocket, got 2 terabytes wherever you need it, super fast data, good stuff there. But
What more?
if
What more do you need?
what more? But if you would like to get those or any of other picks, or you're looking to shop Amazon Prime big deal days, head over to notpicks.com. Once again, we've got a ton of previous picks. These ones aren't up there yet. They'll be up there tonight. But we have hundreds of picks now, and we're still doing a contest. If you see something on there that you have experience with, just click on the product and leave a little review on it. It helps the SEO juice, the Google juice, so that other people can find stuff and find good products. But we have such a wide variety. We have a 2016 Nissan Leaf on there,
You can
previous
learn
pick of
more
the
at
week,
Edmunds.
which
Yeah.
you can see in the driveway cam very easily.
There it is.
There it is. We actually own these products.
We do.
Dave's pick
And I gotta
tonight, he
tell you,
doesn't have it in hand yet, but
I did not pay that much for that thing, so
yes,
don't pay that much.
don't pay that much.
Yeah,
That's
so
the full review page there. But
my daughter was outside next to some guy in a sports car, as one does when you're
Yeah.
a young person. And I pull in and I park and I went to talk to them, introduce myself. I was like, "Hey man, you want to race?" And because it was I don't know what it was. It looked like a Charger or something like that.
yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, it's only a 6-cylinder." And I was like, "Well, I think I could beat you off the line, but I couldn't beat you overall."
Yes, for about 2 seconds.
Yeah, for
you
about
would
50
look real good.
yards, I'd be ahead.
Yeah. Oh, that's very nice. Well, I do want to thank our listeners and viewers again, because you guys have been going through Not Picks using our Amazon affiliate link. So we have another Ramazon purchase of the week. It is,
Oops.
and
There we
this
go.
one I am happy because it was one of my previous picks that somebody purchased the same product, the NecTech 360 rotating flat plug extension cord, 1 foot 14 AWG 3-prong extension cord. This has a perfect 5 stars on 3,402 ratings. $20. You get 3 of these little things, which, if you have an outlet behind a couch
Mm-hmm.
or, something like that where you need a flat plug, it gives you a short extension, then you can plug whatever you want to into it. Even in
I've got
my,
some that are
yeah,
angle, but they don't rotate. You're
yeah,
stuck
rotating.
with
Yes.
whatever angle.
Yeah, behind in our garage, I have a shoe rack, and behind that there's an outlet that I want to plug my networking stuff into. So I have 2 of these running out, so then I can just plug whatever I need to in it, and I don't have to move the entire shoe rack every time. So congratulations to whoever bought this, and let us know if it was
Yeah.
you and where you're using it, because I have been very happy with mine. I've bought a couple different varieties, but these ones, perfect 5 stars, or actually it's 4.8 stars.
4.8. What a piece of junk.
Skip it. And Wes says, that wasn't me, but I do need a plug like that. Well, Wes, head to notpicks.com. I'll even send you the direct link to the product. I will text you live as we wrap up the show. But I do want to thank everybody that showed up in the live show tonight. We always love it when you guys get on the chat and give us some junk. But yeah, keep watching, keep listening, get out there and tech better.